Death of Wolverine number 2 is part 4 in a 10-part event, a relatively straightforward follow-up to the exciting first issue with Moira X on the run from death at every turn, Terminator-Phalanx-Logan increasing their hunt for Moira, and Mystique hellbent on assassination. What's cool about the issue, though, is how combined with New Mutants number 24 out today, it rekindles the mysteries of Powers of 10, the best remaining untapped storylines in the Krakoa era of X-Men. Today I'll answer, where is this Wolverine from and why does that matter? Why Moira's techno-organic arm is a little strange, a reveal from New Mutants that teases another Powers of 10 storyline. Hey everybody, I'm Dave Busing, founder and editor-in-chief of comicbookherald.com. You're listening to Krakin Krakoa number 210. If you like the Comic Book Herald YouTube channel and Krakin Krakoa, please consider liking, subscribing, and sharing. It all helps me out a great deal. You can find links for the reading orders in the show notes. Spoilers for discussed comics will follow. To recap, following the events of Inferno, Moira X is on the outs with the mutant nation she helped build. Mystique wants her dead, Doug and Warlock gave her a techno-organic arm, and Moira developed a stage 4 cancer pretty much immediately after escaping Krakoa. We learn here, thanks to Jane Foster, aka former Thor, aka Valkyrie, that there's floronic matter woven into the cells, and fun fact, if you flip the first letters of those words, it's a pretty sick burn on a comic book colorist. Moira quickly recognizes that it was the no-place biome which caused her cancer, something I theorized in my Death of Wolverine number 1 video, although her line, "they did this to me," remains interesting. Who's the they in this scenario? Professor X and Magneto? How would they know what would happen? Doug and Krakoa? Makes more sense, but why would Doug allow her to run from Mystique's assassination attempt back in Inferno if he'd riddled her body with cancer on the sly? Questions remain, but Moira definitely blaming Krakoa and the Mutant Nation. While on the run, Moira, now in her Moira Shit-esque blonde wig, determines the techno-organic arm replacement is what's allowing Mystique to find her so quickly, and slugs some whiskey before cutting off her own arm in a tub full of iodine. Okay, so first, I love how in this series so far we get a reminder that Moira is one bad mother. Literally two, since Proteus didn't turn out great. Though through 10 lives, she has knowledge and skills, and BT dubs, she's like a trained Black Ops assassin. If faced with cutting off my own arm and cauterizing the wound with a motel iron, I would simply broadcast my position to all known enemies, but Moira is cool and tough, and slices and dices like a boss. Likewise, when Mystique bursts into the room to kill Moira, all she finds is the cut-off techno-organic arm, and of course, a homemade bomb Moira made to send Raven straight back to Resurrection Protocols, okay? Mystique and Destiny's plans not going as planned. But here's the tricky part. Why? We'll get to it, but Logan tracking Moira through her Warlock arm makes sense. There's a techno-organic connection, right? Mystique doing it, though? I'm not getting that. Now, it's not too hard to no-prize it away, right? Forge whipped up some tech for her, situation resolved, right? You can do it pretty easily. But this complicates another element for me. Why give Moira the techno-organic arm in the first place? Moira losing the Warlock arm here so quickly is a little weird, right? She just got it in Inferno number 4. I think Doug Ramsey's up to something, okay? Doug, Warlock, Krakoa, they've got plans. They've got schemes. Say what you will about Doug, that he's the weakest new mutant, that he's a little fancy lad, but he's not dumb, okay? There's a reason for giving Moira this arm. Now, in Inferno number 4, the ostensible reason is so they can track Moira as she navigates through the world, but knowing that Mystique would be able to find her and quickly assassinate her, well, that doesn't do a heck of a lot of good, does it, right? It could just be that Doug just didn't want to witness a law of Krakoa, kill no man, broken right in front of his face. It could be as simple as that, but I'm thinking there's more to it. Now, there's an old saying that if it walks like a phalanx and it glows like a phalanx, it's probably a phalanx, and that gets confirmed in a data page here that tells us some translated code upon the arrival of Logan is repeating the phrase, "We are phalanx." To me, this indicates that not only is this Wolverine a part of the Phalanx techno-organic hive, but that in all likelihood this is a fully consumed version of Wolverine. In the first issue alone, I wondered if this could be a Wolverine still somewhat in control, right? Traveling back through time with some agency, but I feel like that version wouldn't be "we are phalanxing," all over Krakoa. This seems like a Wolverine pretty far gone. The fact that Wolverine is tied to the Phalanx, again, is hardly a shock, but what we also get confirmation of here is Forge's analysis of the Krakoan habitat that emerged with this Logan, and that the fact that it's Krakoan and 1,000 years older than the present-day Krakoa itself, which is where things get real exciting, because the timeline we've seen 1,000 years in the future in Powers of 10 is the one where we see Wolverine and Moira captured by Homo Novissima as they sought to ascend with the Phalanx, right? That's Moira's 6th life, the life 1,000 years in the future from Powers of 10. Now, my theory in Death's number 1 was that this Wolverine is from Omega Sentinel's timeline, okay? The one where mutants always win, and that he's trying to ensure it comes to fruition. And the time travel elements certainly leave this very much in play, right? Still my leading theory, because we've seen Omega succeed at time travel like this, whereas we haven't seen any characters traverse Moira's lifelines yet. Either way, though, we're either looking at time travel from Omega's timeline or lifeline travel from Moira's 6th life, and either option is cool as hell. Now, for my money, definitely, if this is the Wolverine from Moira's 6th life, that is the most exciting possible option, because we have not seen lifeline travel that would connect to Powers of 10 in the most thorough way. But I think what's super cool about this is that it's back in play, right? Those Powers of 10 mysteries are back in play, and that is long overdue. Now, I think because it's been so flipping long, 2.5 years since Powers of 10, I think there's a tendency, maybe it's just me, to understate what a big deal it is if Moira's lifelines are coming into the picture in the present day, right? In the present lifeline with the ascension of Krakoa. This has not happened before. And even now, as it may be happening, it's not like no one theorized this could be the answer, right? But we still don't know the how of it. And that's exciting as hell. How could that have happened? Even the time travel aspect, right? Omega Sentinel was sent back in time, we know, from Inferno number 3. If this Wolverine was sent back by the machines, by the Phalanx, how and why? The related piece to this stems from a development in New Mutants number 24. The issue is a masterclass in thematically connecting character development, and led me to state that no writer has fulfilled the promise of the X-Men's Krakoa era more effectively than Vita Ayala. But for our purposes, the big development is that Martha Johansson, formerly known as No Girl, aka the just a brain in a jar mutant, formally requests an actual body. And we see that Resurrection celebrated here with a design that should look real familiar to Powers of 10 fans. It's Silabel, the black brain telepath that we meet in Powers of 10. The design is totally the same, and I love seeing these things connected again, bringing back the Powers of 10 mysteries. Rasputin and Zorn and their black hole, Silabel, the black brain telepath, the ascension of the Phalanx, all of these things, Dominions and Galactic Intelligences, all of these things have the most legs and are the things that I want to see interconnected in the Krakoa era as we move forward to begin really fulfilling the promise of that event series. I feel like we've gotten the House of X side of things, right? We've gotten a little bit of the cleaner building of a mutant nation in Krakoa, but we've gotten so little of the future timelines and Moira's lifelines in the Powers of 10. And again, this is a nice nod to that in a very, very good issue just across the board. So yeah, I'm excited to see the X-Office picking up the mysteries, moving things forward, and reminding readers why this era was so exciting in the first place. We're 40% through X Lives and X Deaths of Wolverine, and I don't think it's a masterpiece or like best of the year material, but it is exceeding expectations. And that alone is great. Good. I'm here for it. I definitely want to see what happens next, and I'm along for the ride to experience these 10 issues before we get to the official launch of the Destiny of X. The Krakoan for the next issue, which is X Lives of Wolverine number 3, is Blood in the Water, okay? Which is, we'll see, going to be some more Wolvie in the Wild West via Omega Red, if the cover is to be believed. Thanks, everybody, for listening. I'm Dave. You can find my stuff over at comicbookherald.com. Of course, you can go to patreon.com/comicbookherald for ways to support the site, which is greatly, greatly appreciated. You can always just like and subscribe the channel here. That helps me, too. You can find my stuff on social if you want to interact on Twitter and Instagram at Comic Book Herald. Look for the Best Comics Ever and My Marvelous Year podcast for more from me. Thanks, everybody, for listening. And as always, enjoy the comic.